Hi, I'm Dr. Aimie, and many people get stuck in their healing from trauma, whether we're talking about attachment trauma, other early childhood trauma, or even more recent traumas. I don't want you to be one of those, so let's go over what will keep you stuck. Number one is going to be feeling sorry for yourself. This is a normal, natural thing to do after you or someone else has been through something hard. It's to feel sorry for ourselves or feel sorry for them, feel sorry for what they've been through. And yet this puts us in the victim role. And this will not be helpful then when figuring out how can I move forward or how can I help them move forward in their healing. So rather than feel sorry, we feel sad. We feel sad for what we've been through. We feel sad for what our child has been through. We feel sad rather than feel sorry. Because when we feel sorry, we tend to justify or rationalize behaviors, words, actions, because we feel sorry for what we or they have been through. Number two is going to be blaming others. Granted, many times our traumas come at the hands of someone else. Whether this was abuse, neglect, whatever it was, many times we were not the cause of the trauma, or at least not the direct cause of the trauma. And yet blaming others is going to get us stuck in our healing, because again, it keeps us in the victim role and mentality. And so rather than saying things like, she made me do this, he made me feel this way, and so then I did this, we take personal responsibility and have strong accountability for our actions and for our words. Accountability is a big part of healing from trauma. This is often overlooked, and that's why I wanted to bring this up, because this is an area in which many people will get stuck, of not taking personal accountability, being honest with what they chose to do, what they decided to say, and trying to blame it on someone else. Number three is going to be not listening to our bodies. And so our bodies have an innate wisdom. Our bodies will heal themselves when they're provided with everything that they need to heal. Oftentimes, as a result of the trauma, we are so disconnected from our bodies, we don't know what our bodies are trying to tell us. So how can we give our bodies what they need? So one of the first steps of healing from trauma is reconnecting with our body, coming back into our bodies, not living in our brain, our thoughts, but actually coming into our body and seeing how different emotions show up in our body. They'll show up in different places and in different ways. And then it will help guide us. It won't be the only guide, but it will help guide us and show us what it needs in order to heal. One recent example is that a patient of mine, her perpetrator, recently died. And she could tell in her body that she needed to see him and see that he was no longer alive in order to really have that full relaxation in her body. And so even though it was very difficult for her, she made the trip because she listened to her body and could tell that this is what her body needed in order to move on and move through to her trauma healing. And last but not least is going to be how we define taking care of ourselves or being good to ourselves. So we know these concepts, we know that this is an important part, and yet when we define being good to ourselves as letting ourselves get away with things that we have not earned, we have not done the work in order to earn it, then we're setting ourselves back and we're going to get stuck in our trauma healing. So whether we're using the term taking care of myself or we're using the term I'm being good to myself, when we are doing things for ourselves that are letting ourselves get away with something, that is not going to be helpful in moving through to healing from trauma. It's going to get us stuck in our trauma healing. So I hope this has been helpful, because I really do not want you to be one of the ones that get stuck in your healing. And these are often overlooked areas. So I hope that you'll pay attention to these and you'll give these some thought and introspectively look to see if this has been a part of your life and experience at all.